Spiritual warfare. The title of my little part is called Finishing the War. So I guess we talked about being strong and also being tired and weary. So I'll talk about the end goal of finishing the war. So in order to talk about the end, we first have to start at the beginning. So this was me when I was first baptized. This is my senior year of high school. That's me hugging my dad.
Love it.
Relax. Some of the other teens and campus students at the time. And I want all you guys to think back to when you first got to know God. That first love you found for Him, about how you were being cradled in His arms, and about how you fell in love with Him. And I just remember after I was baptized, like the next couple of days waking up, like just being excited to read my Bible, just being excited to go to God, being like, you know, I'm finally saved, I'm finally home with God. So it's easy to start the fight, but it's hard to finish. Like life can start to wear you down, and we'll no longer feel super fired up, or we feel like we might have to keep going. It's easy to start, but it's hard to finish. My first point is to fix your eyes on Jesus. So in this spiritual war, we need to have a deep understanding of our commander and our leader, who is Jesus. You know, if we aren't fixed on our commander, we're fixed on something else. We could be fixed on a relationship or even ourselves. It's like we need to be super focused on our leader, who is Jesus. So turn with me to Psalm 42, verse 1 and 2.
Come on, Q.
All right, so reading in Psalm 42, it says, "As the deer pants for streams of water, so my soul pants for you, my God. My soul thirsts for you, for God, for the living God. When can I go and meet with God?" This is the attitude that we're called to have as disciples. Like, this is the attitude that you all had when you first came to know Him. We've got to be striving for this every single day. Every time we wake up, it needs to be our first thought of, when can I go and meet with God? That excitement that you first had, we got to hold on to that. And that's what's going to keep us faithful to the end. And we should never get bored with God. God is always new. He's a funny God. He's a powerful God. He's a jealous God. We can never get bored with Him. So we need to be fixing our eyes on Jesus. And 3 practicals I have at this point is to pray, serve, and share.
Amen.
Having a deep prayer life is really going to protect you in your walk with God. That's you and God. That's you talking to the Creator. That's a powerful time. Serving will also help you get your mind off of yourself onto other people. I know when I'm struggling, I tend to only think about myself, only think about what I'm going through. I can kind of get upset, like, oh, no one's texting me, no one's hitting me up. I feel alone. And serving can really get your mind off of yourself. You get thinking about other people and other brothers and sisters, and that's a really powerful way to keep yourself in the fight.
Amen.
Also, sharing. Sharing the gospel is just a powerful way to make sure you're still in the fight. I think of sharing, I think of my friend Tia here. She came to the spring retreat last semester, and after a Saturday lesson, I walked up to her, and she had tears in her eyes. She was starting to cry a little bit. Sorry, putting you on the spot. It was just so inspiring and faith building to see someone else get to know God the way I know Him. Just seeing her finally start to understand who God is and how much He cares for her. Seeing other people come to God is just so faith building, and as a disciple, we need to be constantly sharing our faith and seeing other people come to God.
Amen.
So we also have to have deep relationships and fixing our eyes on Jesus. I think of deep relationships. I think of my good friend Cody McCrader. He's a sophomore at UMass Amherst. He's been a disciple for over 2 years now. This is me and him at my sister's graduation. And Cody's been keeping it real with me since I first got baptized. Over the summer, after we had been home for a couple of weeks after school ended, he was me, my sister, and another sister in the church back home. We were in my basement at 2 in the morning watching Netflix, and my sister fell asleep, and I'm sure you can see where this is kind of going. Me and his sister started to get a little closer and started flirting a little bit, and started almost holding hands, and luckily it didn't progress any further than that, but I just saw where my heart was, and it wasn't in a godly place. So luckily she went home, she drove home after that, and I remember the next couple of days I was just feeling guilty, and I didn't really want to confess my sin. So then at the next campus Devo, Cody actually came up to me and he kind of called me out. He said, "Bro, what happened at your house the other night?" And I knew he knew, but I didn't want to let him know. So I kind of just let him speak, and he was saying how I was kind of being a coward, not telling him. And he told me that he shouldn't be hearing things from other sisters because the sister actually told another sister who told him, and he said he should not be hearing these things from other people. He should be hearing it from me directly. And when I also think of deep relationships, I think of Scott Kenny. I don't think he's here today. So I'm thinking of Scott Kenny. Last semester he was preaching a sermon, and he was so excited, and he was telling me afterwards that he was so excited to preach the sermon. He saw all the campus students there, and then I walked in. I came in late that day for not any real reason. I was just in my room. I was just in my room, and after service he told me, he said, Q, I see you stepping up as a leader. I see you starting to lead Bible talks, starting to lead your ministry. But you gotta lead them on all aspects. You can't be showing up late to church and expect to lead people.
Right.
We need people in our life who are gonna drag us to heaven no matter what.
Amen.
We need people who are not gonna give up on us and just let us fall. We need people who are gonna drag us to heaven.
Come on now.
So my next point, going on with fixing your eyes on Jesus, turn with me to Isaiah 40, verse 31.
Amen. Come on, Q. Good.
Reading in Isaiah 40, it says, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." So in order for us to get like this is the awesome mentality to have, where we're soaring on wings like eagles with God. It's not easy to get there. We need to be fixing our eyes on Jesus. If we're fixed on anything else, if we're focused on anything else, if we're focused on ourselves, if we're focused on different sins, we're going to start to veer off path. We're going to start to veer off of what God has in store for us. So my next point is the hunker down for the crown.
Amen.
So, in this spiritual warfare, we need to be able to hunker down and dig our heels in and say, Satan, you're not going to move me. You're not going to twist me. You're not going to get me from God.
Right.
The devil is tricky. He's going to try to make you leave God. He's going to try to sneak behind enemy lines and convince you that God doesn't love you. And convince you that God doesn't need you. When in fact God does love you. So reading in turn your Bibles to Numbers 14, verse 1 through 3. If you're not familiar with Numbers, this is the kind of point in the Bible where God has delivered the Israelites from the Egyptian rule. And when they were being oppressed by the Egyptians, they were just slaves. They had no rights. They were just being killed for no reason. And so here we pick up the story in Numbers 14. It says, "That night, all the members of the community raised their voices and wept aloud. All the Israelites grumbled against Moses and Aaron, and the whole assembly said to them, 'If only we had died in Egypt or in the wilderness. Why is the Lord bringing us to this land only to let us fall by the sword? Our wives and children will be taken as plunder. Wouldn't it be better for us to go back to Egypt?'" So these people wanted to go back to their slavery. These people have forgotten the good stuff that God did for them. These people wanted to go back to their bondage, to their chains, and that kind of has a lot of parallels to our lives today.
Right.
We can go back to certain sins that we want to commit. We can go back to pornography, to laziness, to stuff that just holds us back from God. These people have forsaken the Lord. So there was a point in my life where I forgot the good times. This was last year of college. So the summer leading up to it, I had my car insurance, so I was driving around. I was having a good time. Then when I came to school, months went by and I wasn't really driving at all, so I was just wasting my money. And I just felt like, why am I still spending money on this? Why am I still giving my money for this? So I completely cut off my car insurance, and that was a huge mistake. I came back from winter break, and I was miserable. I remember the first thing I did when I came home was ask my mom if I could drive to my friend's house, and she said, "No, absolutely not. Do not look at the car, do not smell the car. You have no insurance." And I just remember being super bored, having to ask my mom for rides. It was super embarrassing as a college student. Yeah, but I was too focused on the negative effects of having to pay, and I forgot the good times I had with driving. We can be like this sometimes. We forget the good times we have with God. We're too focused on the stuff that we're going through now to remember that He saved us from so much.
Right. Yep.
So continuing reading, jump down to verse 20. It says, "The Lord replied, 'I have forgiven them as you asked. Nevertheless, as surely as I live, and as surely as the glory of the God fills the whole earth, not one of those who saw my glory and the signs I performed in Egypt and in the wilderness, but who disobeyed me and tested me 10 times, not one of them will ever see the land I promised on oath to their ancestors.'" No one who has treated me with contempt will ever see it.
Wow.
It's a pretty serious scripture, guys.
Right?
These people forgot what the Lord had saved them from.
Yep.
These people forgot the miracles that God did in their life. If you don't know the story about Numbers in Exodus, God actually did so many miracles for these people. He split rocks to let water flow for them to drink.
Yep.
He made food rain. He made manna rain from heaven. These people forgot stuff like that. Like, I don't know how you see food rain from the heaven, you just forget it. He also split the Red Sea for them and just allowed them to escape the Egyptians that way. He split open the sea for them and they forgot. So what does this look like for us? Like, what does treating the Lord look like with contempt for us? This could mean like forcing yourself to go to church, forcing yourself to read the Bible instead of having the attitude that you had at first of how could I not go to church? How could I not read my Bible? I love God too much to not read my Bible today. We're at war with Satan daily. Satan wants us to become like this. Satan wants us to forget about God and to only focus on our problems of the day. I pray that none of us are forsaken the Lord and that we can honestly say we're like Caleb in this next verse.
Amen.
Reading in verse 24, it says, "But because my servant Caleb has a different spirit and follows me wholeheartedly, I will bring him into the land he went to, and his descendants will inherit it." I'm going to read this one more time, and I want you guys to put your own names in there. So, but because my servant Caleb, because my servant Jesse, because my servant Nelson, because my servant Tim has a different spirit and follows me wholeheartedly, I will bring him into the land he went to, and his descendants will inherit it.
Amen.
So this is why we keep fighting.
Yes.
This is why we stay in the war.
Yep.
Because God has something better in store for us. The sin that we're trying to go back to, the slavery that we're trying to go back to, it's not worth it, guys. The fear that we're holding on to, the fear that's stopping us from completely committing to God, it's not worth it. God has something better in store for us.
Amen.
Last scripture here, 2 Timothy 4, 6-8.
Come on, Q.
The Bible says, "For I'm already being poured out like a drink offering, and the time for my departure is near. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race." Now, how amazing would it be to say something like this at the end of your life?
Yep.
I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Now there is in store for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day. This is why we keep fighting, guys. There's a crown waiting for us. There's a victory waiting for us in heaven. We can't give up, guys.
Amen.
God wants to place that crown in your head. Like, I just want you guys to get a vision of your future. Like, this is what we're fighting for. This is why we keep on going in our jobs. This is why we continue to stand out at work. This is why we continue to stand out in the classroom and be above and beyond. Like, this is why we don't blend into the crowd and get back into our timid lifestyles.
Right.
You know, this victory isn't just for you. This victory is also for other people around you. Victories for your family, for your parents, for your kids, for people next to you. We gotta keep fighting for these people because God promises that there's victories ahead. Like, God has never broken a promise and He never will.
Right.
We gotta hold on to those promises in dark times. It's gonna be so hard for us to continue to fight and to know these promises are real when we're bogged down by life. But we just gotta hold on to this, guys. In conclusion, this is me at the campus retreat. And, this is Tim. Glory, Glory. But he was singing it in the opera, in opera. And he was killing it. I remember I was so excited for him. You see me screaming.
Thanks,
Yeah,
dude.
this is what we're going for. Like, as campus students, like, we all went to the retreat. And I want you guys to hold on to that memory for the rest of your life.
Amen.
Like, as we continue to go through school and to go through finals now, like, it's gonna feel really hard to finish. But like, hold on to this memory and hold on to the hope that God has for you. I want to challenge you guys, like, you will feel weary in this life, but let God sustain you. Let God's like complete love and righteousness like hold you. Like, give yourself completely to God's love and let it shower over you. Continue praying, continue serving, and continue sharing. These are our weapons against the devil.
Amen.
Prayer, service, and sharing. Like, repeat that in your mind as you go along through the day. Fix your eyes on Jesus. He's the commander of our spiritual army. In this spiritual war, we need to have our eyes fixed on the commander, or else you're going to be fixed on something else. He's the only one who can make he's the only one who can allow us to make it out of the spiritual war as a disciple.
Yes.